Hi, welcome to my first video. It's about a fantastic lawnmower when it works. I just picked this up yesterday. That'd be 19th of May 2020. Today's the 20th. Yesterday, one day, but I have emailed Honda about the issue I ran into, which the mower would stall, wouldn't start, or would sputter and constantly hit the governor and drop in RPMs and come back up again. So the reason for this, if your lawnmower is doing the same thing, if it's this new Honda series where it's the HRN, this one's the 216. If you get the 217, it maybe has the same issues. I've seen online a couple of videos of people returning them because they won't start. So this is the new GCV series of engine, and this is the 170 is the model number. It's not the size, it's a bit smaller than that, just like motorcycles. They always do that. So it's the gas cap. Should have started off with that. Real easy solution. Pardon me, it's not an easy solution. It'll get your mower running again until we figure out, or Honda gets back to people in the masses, or whatever happens. So I guess it might help if you register your mower for warranty. Maybe they'll contact you, or if you're just tired of it, well, return it. You know, in my case, I like it a lot. I used it I installed an hour meter on top. I got 2.8 hours on it yesterday. Just about 2 tanks of fuel. So what happened was, as soon as I loosened the gas cap, I didn't have to take it right off. As soon as you loosen it, I guess it's some sort of vacuum issue. It increased in RPM gradually and then ran at its regular RPM. Or in some cases, like when I first tried to start it, it would run for 30 seconds and then just die. Which initially I was hugely impressed. I mean, first pull, and a very light pull at that. Like, this thing's awesome for the amount of pull force required. It's very negligent compared to some other mowers we used. It would start up, run, and then just putter up. It starved of fuel. So I had checked, and you can check in your model too, just to verify. Like, you got here is the air intake. So just to make sure, mine wasn't, but I checked it just in case. There's 2 tabs you push on the top, and then it rotates back out, and his little fingers will hold it in. Just to make sure, I guess, that your air filter isn't covered in like a cellophane or plastic for shipping. I don't know that it would be. I don't think it was in the instructions. I don't know. Read your owner's manual for the detailed instructions, but mine wasn't covered in cellophane, but I wasn't sure, so I checked it anyhow, but it was not. So what I was just trying to check is the different requirements for your motor to run. I know it sounds dumb, it's your brand new mower, you shouldn't have to check things for it to make sure it runs for you. But a gas motor, just like your cars, like majority of gas motors that we use today, you need your fuel, your air, and your spark. So the portion I was checking was the air. This is so that your motor can breathe. So I knew it could breathe. And then the spark, you can get different testers who will actually show you the spark. It's kind of cool. But in this case, in the front here, I'll roll it off the table. Your spark plug is right here. I'll come in for a closer view after, but I just made sure it was on and snug, and of course it was. Kudos to the assembly team. And then, so that's your spark, which that's not really testing your spark, it's just making sure the plug and the boot were on to have a connection. So it was kind of assuming the ignition system, coils and whatnot, or, well, I don't know if it's a coil-based system, but it was just ensuring that that was operating. Pardon me, I'm not even ensuring that it was operating. I was ensuring it was on and hypothetically making contacts you can't see into the boot. So if that wasn't confusing and ridiculous enough for inordinate amount of detail. And then fuel. So as long as you got your fuel in there, and I've got lots of fuel. And then the other one, even the Home Depot rep had said some people come back, I guess, with their lawnmowers and return them quite angrily. Only really because they didn't read the manual or really worked with shut-off valves before, like a petcock valve on like a motorcycle. So on this Honda mower, it's down here. And there's even a nice little picture here too. It tells you when you're up and down, just like a lot of valves, that means the gas line's running this way. There's actually a rubber line down here running this way. When it's up and down, it's blocking it. So that cuts off your fuel. It won't be instantaneous. I wanted to sharpen the blades because I hit a stone and I messed them up pretty good where it wasn't cutting the grass anymore. So I guess I should have precursored this. So I guess I gave you the answer initially, or one of the answers to the solution of it starving for fuel, stuttering and dying on you or not starting. Loosen your gas cap, try doing it again. You know, loosen your gas cap. As long as you got this valve on in this position so it's in line with the fuel line flowing, and you got gas in here, and your spark plug boot is seated well, and there's nothing obstructing your air, it'll start right up. This thing starts fantastic, runs fantastic, when it's got the proper 3 requirements. So now I'm kind of in ramble mode. If you want to stick around or not, it's up to you. I don't know if Honda, like I said, if they're going to release a different cap for this. Perhaps there's a vent line somewhere in the tank that's plugged from the factory, like the mold wasn't perfect. I don't know. The weird thing is, in the manual it stipulates that they run these at the factory to test that they run. So if it's well, obviously it's mass produced, but perhaps when they test it, they've got like a fuel line that goes straight to the carburetor and something else, right? Because it's on the factory floor line. They're going to have probably some sort of feeding system with gas in it, and the line worker will just plug it in and run it. I mean, unless they put fuel in the actual tank, which would make sense, but then you get shipping issues and stuff like that too, possibly. I don't know. So again, ramble mode. Welcome. I guess obviously I should have precursored as well. If you've went through the steps, hopefully you've added your bottle of oil. They include with it. You dump the whole bottle of oil in, which is nice. Thanks Honda. You know, it's the whole thing. Batteries included, not included with your purchase. Well, the oil was included. The blades are included. So that's kind of neat. So you add your oil and your fuel. Make sure your fuel line's valve is open. I'm just going to close it again. And put your spark plug boots on, and your air filter's good to go, that there's nothing obstructing it, and then you're off to the races. Unfortunately for now, until there's a fix or Honda gets back to me, all I do to keep the machine running or get it running in the first place is loosen the cap. Like, I know this is, you see all these people talk about you see the YouTube videos of people saying the wonderful feature of this mower. Like, this mower is super cool. Like, I know it sounds kind of weird to say, but it doesn't clog easily. The wheel height adjustments are super simple, and it doesn't require, you know, a snipe or a Johnson bar or something on there to grab it because you need more leverage, right? Works really well. This speed system for the auto drive is fantastic. It's proportional, just like, say, like an ATV would be with your thumbs. I know it's kind of a bad analogy if you haven't ridden an ATV before with that system equipped. It's a paddle. You've seen on other YouTube videos or even on the mower itself in pictures. You can adjust its height through rotation on the bar itself, and then you just use your thumbs to push. And it's completely variable, just like your gas pedal in your car. There you go, it's a different angle. And it's normally off, so the mower will free move forward and backwards. Completely free move. There's no interference of anything else. Like, it's, I've seen a few videos online where other iterations of the drive system, there's clicking resistances or drag. There's nothing. Like, it moves back and forth. No problem at all, which is fantastic. You're under the tree, down a ditch, whatever. And then all you do is just gradually engage the system. And if you want to go slower, just don't push it as far. If you want to go faster, push it in further. You can even do burnouts. As ridiculous as that sounds, it's kind of funny. You can sit there if you're on the gravel driveway or a slippery surface. You give her, both wheels will just spin. So it's kind of funny you're doing burnouts with your lawnmower. I digress. So the mower is really nice though. It's got 2 different height adjustments on it as well with these gray knobs, as you've probably seen. Again, you've probably watched numerous videos. They're just a 1/4 turn, and that's it. It just pulls the pin out, and then you can adjust it to different heights. I've got mine set to the higher height. I'm 6'2" on a good day. And I've got it set up at the higher position, and it's great. It's really comfortable. I'm, like I said, I'm mowed for 2.8 hours. 0.8, right? I was gonna make a joke, but yeah. So 2.8 hours yesterday, and honestly, not. I was sore because you're outside and you're walking around a lot, but I mean, like, it wasn't bad. And for those who are curious too, a step counter, 2.8 hours was something like 14,000 steps apparently, but my tracker thinks I'm on a bicycle when I'm using this. But that's the same as golfing too, when you're holding the cart walking along, it thinks you're cycling. Again, sorry, like I said, it's ramble time. But what I did for this mower, right out of the box, is I installed an hour meter on it. It's off of Amazon. You get all different versions there. The one I picked up is on here. It runs on a coin cell battery that's replaceable. So it's not one of the one-time completely sealed all deals where you gotta throw it in the garbage afterwards. This, you just pop it off, and it's a common 2030 or 2020 something series coin cell. And the recoil, or not the recoil, the pull start opening clears it enough where I've got the wire runs in along top, and it's got a couple of stick tabs for zap straps along the inside. Then I've got the excess wire coiled around, which some of you may be cringing. Yeah, it's a pickup and it's coiled, which can cause other issues, but the meter reads good. It reads an accurate RPM according to the manuals I'll show you here. And then it's just wrapped around, I think 4 or 5 times around the actual wire for the spark plug, and that tells you your hours you've been running for and your RPMs. So the other thing is, to be able to get at that, to take this cover off, there's 4 plastic like finger tabs. They push through on the bottom in several different places. There's actually a small mold mark here in the cover and here, and the same on this side. And that actually shows you where those fingers go through. The caveat being, from the factory they install a stopper so that you can't take the cover off. It's just a simple a recess nut, like a clamp. I'm gonna play with the autofocus here. One of those guys where it just slips on and it gives you a screw hole to go through, and all it is, it's locking the cover on. So once you remove that, don't jerk it off and be rammy with it. You're gonna have issues. And all that is, actually it was this one here. So on this side with your fuel shut off and your mulch or selector here, this was actually just slid up on this like that, and they put a screw through it, and that just secured the cap so you couldn't take it off. So I was getting a little impatient and probably came close to breaking some of the snaps a couple times, but once I saw the screw through it, and the trick is you can't just take the screw off. You actually have to take this off as well, which will just slide off with a bit of prying. Don't use your fingernail, it hurts. Use a screwdriver. Once you pry that down, then the whole cover comes off. I guess I could take it off here too. I'm just concerned about the wiring. Now these I forget. All right. So in order to take this off as well, like I said, it's total tangent. The gas cap needs to come off because it's larger than the diameter of the hole that's in the cover. There. It's probably tight. Some souvenirs. I probably shouldn't have grabbed that. It's probably stinging nettle. I found that stuff. It's all over the property. So in here, all it is just looped around. And feel free to do, obviously do it whatever way you want. Okay, so I move the camera here. Let's grab a light. Let's see if we can mess with the camera's color balance. Or white balance, pardon me. So in there you can see how the cord comes down. Oh, now I'm feeling all the other YouTubers pain trying to do lighting. So the cord comes down, just on a little sticky zap strap, zip tie holder all the way around. Then I try in a couple of loops around this little vibration isolator, and then run it down. It runs around the spark plug itself. And that, you can see there. It's just got a couple of wraps around it. And that's all in your manual too. You just need enough wraps to, you just need enough wraps to be able to pick up the ignition or the spark pulse. And then all these here, so that's just the type of clip. So the tang's actually on the inside, so when you reach under, you're going to grab it and kind of pull it back towards it. I don't know if we got... That's clear, that's clear. And the gas cap. This is what the actual hour mirror looks like. Hour meter looks like. So we're going to go for a trip here. So at 2.8, you can kind of go through. There's a little light on it. That's what I said the first service for a 5-hour time limit. So it'll count down as well. Max RPM. Pardon me, max RPM there, warning. And then that's your pickup mode. Obviously, whatever model you buy is going to have a different, but this is for the number of cylinders and what type of, it's 4-stroke or 2-stroke. That's my service interval. There we go, 2.8 hours. Let's see, so I don't decapitate myself, unless that's probably what you want. Okay. All right. Okay, so that's kind of a little detour of how the hour meter is on there and how it's run around here, so that you pick up the ignition. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, ignition or is picking up the pulse to the spark plug, and the pulse being the actual spark eventually itself once it reaches the tip of the spark plug. And it was kind of neat too, because when you're trying to start it, when it's sounds like it's hitting the governor, like it's trying to actually stall, comes back up, stall, comes back up, like your typical small gas or any gas really appliance when it runs out of fuel. or even sometimes, you know, you get that it picks up an RPM in the last minute too, like right to the last second, like you're there's no drag, right? Like it's drawing the fuel through, and it'll just really speed up, and then just die on you. But yeah, I installed this out of curiosity and mainly to keep up with the services. Otherwise, you're kind of in a guessing game, or you have to keep track of it yourself, because all the intervals. This is the manual that comes with your actual lawnmower. It's a fantastic manual. Bravo, Honda. Like this is really great for the in-depth. It tells you the maintenance requirements before work. But what I was looking at in here, because initially, when you install your hour meter, there's two 4-stroke single-cylinder settings, which this is what your lawnmower is. This particular lawnmower is a single cylinder, and it's a 4-stroke. And there's two types of ignition timings that this module is looking for, or can be set to display the proper RPMs. So as an error check, in one mode it displayed approximately 2,900 RPMs, 3,000 down to 2,920, and then when you change to the other mode, it's registering like 8,000 RPM. Well, your mower specification for this motor, the GCV170, is specified as maximum governed speed 2,950, so 2,950 to 3,100 RPM. So I knew there, once I saw 3,000, 2,900 and change, that the setting was correct. So then it's going to track the proper RPMs. And in here, so yeah, it's very well written. It goes through a ton of information, maintenance requirements, how to operate the full works, how to get it ready for storage, and yeah, it's got you well covered that way. And in the front here, this is where it's good to keep track of your hours. I don't know what an easy way is going to show you. So obviously when you get your own, or you look online at Honda's webpage, in here it shows you across the top at what hour and what maintenance is required below it or is recommended. So the first one, so you go before each use, and then 5 hours of use, or within your first month, change your engine oil. So that's the only thing for the 5-hour mark. So that's why I installed an hour meter. It's good to have, good to know, and then it takes the guesswork out. I installed one on the generator as well. It just keeps track of it for you. But again, sorry, so that's a lot of time spent in the hour meter. I apologize, but it's a good instrument to kind of keep track of your machine. Like as I said, this machine has worked fantastic. It folds up for easy storage as well. Like as I'm sure you've, again, if you watch other videos, they'll show you all in depth. And that's actually how it comes in the box. When you unbox it, it's like this in there, with the bag kind of stashed in here, and the bag frame is there as well, and your oil. But that's it. Like let's see, that force is you're essentially trying to pull it, because the cord is pulling the motor. So I guess, like, if you want to do it easier, you can pull it out a bit and then undo your handle, or sometimes these will actually, no, the gap there is not really big enough. But anywho, yeah, so now it's really tight, because it doesn't know any different, right? This is pull text, it thinks you're trying to start it. There, see? Musician. Yeah, unfortunately, until they come out with, or perhaps, like, before they come up with a solution, there's a different gas cap. Or if there's, say, a vent line underneath somewhere within it, because a lot of this is too, the motor's covered in plastic, or resin on their website, but I don't know what, if they're going to come up with any. But I've seen this for online there. The GCV was the 180, comes in the the 217 series. So it seems like so far it's a manufacturing thing with these new motors. So it's almost too well for tolerances kind of thing, and it's just starving it. So yeah, loosen your gas cap, let it sit. Well, not even let it sit. You can try pulling on it, but you might as well give it, you know, 10-20 seconds to let the fuel flow back through down to the carburetor, and then try starting it. But like I say, it starts like a champ. Cuts like a champ. I'm cutting grass that's 4 or 5 feet tall. Some places not very dense, so it's fine. Other places it's really dense, and you just gotta watch your flow. You know, if your chute's not chucking grass, it's plugged, you're gonna have issues. As long as your chute's not plugged and you're chucking grass, you know, it works great. I worked out as well the hour meters too, so you can kind of work on it. It's just under 1 liter of fuel for the capacity. Again, it's all specs from the manual. I may be a bit off on it, but about an hour and a half. So about an hour and a half till you're pretty much empty. So that's kind of neat with the hour meter as well. You can kind of see how long it is before you run out of fuel. Now, I run, like I was sitting there, that was yesterday, so I think with that amount of grass to cut, I was thinking down the road, add on a clamp for a water bottle, and I mean, it's all extras, it's fun stuff, right? But you can even add on a clamp with a water bottle holder and throw in like one of those little camping fuel cell, those MSR, those red ones, or whatever is safe for storing gasoline. And you could carry on, you know, 750 milliliters, 500 milliliters of gasoline, that if you're out, way out somewhere and you're out of fuel because you didn't bring your tank, or you didn't watch your time, or you didn't watch your tank and see what your levels are at, and kind of put yourself in a position where you could refill easily and less walking with a gas can or pushing with the mower. And you just have like a bottle here for fuel, top you up, get you going, keep cutting grass and head back, get to the big tank, and a water bottle. Yeah, other than that, oh, I guess one other thing, a lot of little things packed in this video, probably should knock it, break it up in different videos, but the blades, there are 2 blades, they're stacked on top of each other, they're just clocked at a slightly different rotation. So if the lower blade, the upper blade hits the grass blade first and the lower blade hits the grass blade, or vice versa, I forget the picture. Again, online you'll see lots of videos of it. And 2 bolts take off, and it's around 40 foot-pounds of torque when you put them back on again. But I hit a rock and damaged the end of the blade pretty substantially. It folded it up, and just used a hammer, bent the fold back down again. And again, this is on the cutting edge. The blade itself maintained its form. Just I folded the edge up. I just bent it back down again and just reshaped it. And I shaped both sides equally to maintain somewhat of a weight distribution balance for rotation wise. And it's back on the go. I wasn't sure if it was going to be 2 blades. If once you damage them, if you're hooped, that you're going to buy them again. I think Home Depot had it for $30 US. A set of blades. They've also got a maintenance kit too. Home Depot sells a maintenance kit for this. Well, I'm sure it's available at all your major retailers and other places, but it was there as well. It's in a box. Gives you a container of oil, spark plug, and an air filter, and it was under $20. So that's pretty cool as far as convenience goes. This runs on 10W30, and again, it gives you a temperature range for what you want to run if you want to run a different weight of oil. But it's the same stuff you got in your car, in most cases, unless you get like 5W or something. But a lot of if you're working on your own equipment, you probably have a bottle of 10W30 sitting somewhere. So after the first one, you've got more oil there. You don't need to pick any up.